Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make every excuse to put somebody in Jannah. Every excuse to put somebody in Jannah. Now you know the extremes of it. The one famous example that we've mentioned multiple times that comes in hadith, where there was a woman who basically was selling herself, yet on one occasion she saw a dog that was thirsty and she got the water for the dog and gave it to the dog, and that was sufficient to put her into Jannah. Yani Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will seek a reason to reward every person that has any ounce of sincerity within them. This is the beauty of our deen. And this is the way by which our scholars and our mashayikh and our elders, this is the way that they understood the deen. I remember on one occasion I was sitting in a talk of Shaykh Zulfikar, and also I read this in hadith as well, that on the day of the extremity of Allah's mercy on the Day of Judgment, how He will make any excuse to reward each and every person. On the Day of Judgment, two people will be brought to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Two people who were basically sinners. They will be brought to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Both of them will be banished to the hellfire. Both will be banished to the hellfire. After being banished to the hellfire, one of them will hear the pronouncement of Allah that you are banished to the hellfire, and he will start running towards the hellfire. Running just as fast as he can towards the hellfire. And another one will hear the pronouncement of Allah's banishing him to the hellfire, and will drag his feet and look back. And then will walk forward and then look back. And then drag his feet and then look back. So both of these people will be returned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it will be asked of the first one, that you were banished to the hellfire, so why did you run? So that person will say, oh Allah, I spent my whole life disobeying you. I thought that at least I could close out this circumstance by obeying your command that I should run to the hellfire. So you said go to the hellfire, so I ran as fast as I can to obey your command. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives that person and puts them into Jannah. for some excuse, puts that person into Jannah. Then the second person is asked that, you were banished to the hellfire, you dragged your feet, you looked back, you dragged your feet, you looked back, you dragged your feet, you looked back. So, why? So that person will say that, Ya Allah, you banished me to the hellfire, but your mercy is so overwhelming that I was walking towards the hellfire thinking maybe you might call me back from your mercy. Then I walked forward, then I looked back thinking you might call me back from your mercy. Then I walked forward, then I looked back thinking you might call me back from your mercy. And then based on that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, yes, my mercy overrides my wrath, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put that person into Jannah as well. So this is the extent of the excuses that will be made on the Day of Judgment to put people into Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's Jannah.